All right, let's dive right in. Today we're talking about something huge in the AI space. What if you could tap into the most powerful open source AI models out there with just a simple API call? No servers, no headaches. Let's get into it.
So let's get right to the point. You're a developer, you're a builder. You see these amazing open source models like Llama 3 or Mixtral, and you immediately think, I have to build something with that. But then, that second thought hits, right? Do I really want to deal with buying GPUs, setting up servers, and managing all that messy infrastructure? For pretty much all of us, the answer is a big, loud no.
And this right here really frames the whole problem. On one side, you've got the pain of self-hosting. We're talking serious upfront costs for hardware, a super complex setup, and you're on the hook for constant maintenance. But on the other side, you've got the dream, the promise of an API. You only pay for what you actually use, it's a simple call in your code, and you have zero maintenance to worry about. This is exactly the gap that a service like Together AI is built to fill.
So let's just dig into this self-hosting headache for a second, because once you really understand the problem, the solution makes so much more sense. Okay, so you decide to go it alone. What's on your to-do list? Well, first you need the actual physical GPU servers. Then you need someone with deep expertise in model optimization to get it running fast. After that, you've got to build out all the engineering for scaling and reliability so your app doesn't just fall over when people use it. Or, you can just give up and accept that it's going to run painfully slow on your own computer. None of these are easy options.
To really make this click, let's use a super simple analogy. I want you to think of all of this as the AI farmer's market. It's a really helpful way to understand what's going on here.
All right, here's the big idea. Trying to host a huge AI model by yourself, that's like deciding you're going to grow all of your own food from scratch. Sure, you get total control, but you need the land, the tools, the expertise, the time. It's a ton of work. Together AI, on the other hand, that's like strolling down to an amazing farmer's market on a Sunday morning.
So let's just walk through it. Step 1. You want the good stuff, right? The powerful open models. That's your fresh, high-quality produce. Step 2, you quickly realize that doing it all yourself, the farming, is incredibly hard and takes forever. So step 3, you just go to the market, Together AI, where all the best stuff is laid out for you, ready to go. And you know what the best part is? The money you spend goes right back to supporting the farmers, the open source community that grew these incredible models to begin with.
Okay, so we've got the why and we have a nice analogy. Now let's pull back the curtain and look at the how. What are the actual pieces that make the Together AI platform tick?
So here's the official definition. Together AI is a cloud platform. Its whole job is to take these awesome open source models, run them on super optimized, high-end hardware, and then give you, the developer, access to them through a simple pay-as-you-go API. Basically, they do all the hard, complicated back-end stuff so you can get all the power of open source with the dead simple convenience of a cloud service.
And the first big piece of this is their model catalog. And honestly, this is where it gets really fun. You're not just getting one model, you're getting a whole buffet. We're talking the entire Llama 3 family, the super powerful Mixtral models, models built just for writing code, and a list of over 50 other community models that's growing all the time. It is a genuine playground for anyone who wants to build with AI.
So how do you get to play with all these amazing toys? Through their API. And they've made this part as easy as possible. It's in an OpenAI-compatible format, which is a huge deal. It means if you've ever used the OpenAI API, you can switch to a model on Together by changing like one line of code. It makes plugging it into your projects a breeze, and yep, it fully supports streaming.
Okay, let's talk about the part that gets a lot of people really excited, the cost. If you're a startup and you want to use Llama 3, self-hosting means shelling out $2,000, probably more, for a GPU server. And that's before you even pay someone for the time to set it up and maintain it. With Together AI, you just get API access. No server, no setup, none of the headaches.
And the numbers, well, they really speak for themselves. For that exact same Llama 3 model, you could be paying as little as 60 cents. 60 cents per million tokens processed. And remember, tokens are just tiny pieces of text. For a huge number of apps, this is so much cheaper than buying your own gear. It completely flips the script on the economics of building with AI.
So, the platform sounds pretty powerful and incredibly affordable. But the big question is always, is it the right choice for your project? Let's break that down.
You should definitely be looking at Together AI if these things sound like you.
if you just prefer using open source models, if you absolutely have to keep your costs under control, if you hate the idea of being locked into one big company, if you're building something that's going to have a lot of users, or if you just believe in supporting the whole open AI movement, if you're nodding your head to any of those, this is probably for you.
Now, to be fair, it isn't the perfect tool for absolutely everyone. You might want to look somewhere else if your project has to use a specific closed source model like GPT-4, or if your number one absolute top priority is pure mind-bending speed, a specialist like Grok might be your best bet. And look, if you only need to make like 10 API calls a month, another option could be simpler. It's all about picking the right tool for the job.
So here's kind of how Together AI fits into the whole neighborhood. Their focus is on being this great, broad platform for all kinds of open source models at a really good price. Grok, on the other hand, is all about being the fastest. That's their whole game. Fireworks is also in that open source space, but they're really focused on the developer experience. And then, of course, you have OpenAI with their own models, which usually cost more and are aimed at a huge market.
All right, let's just zoom out for a minute and look at the bigger picture here. Why does a service like this actually matter in the grand scheme of things? What's the big deal?
Well, it matters because of who it empowers. This is who's using it. You've got developers who can now afford to build their dream projects. You have startups that can actually compete with the big guys without a massive server budget. You have people who believe in open source and could finally put their money where their mouth is. And you have experimenters who can now try out a dozen different models without going broke. This isn't just a convenience, it's a genuine catalyst for innovation.
So if you only remember 3 things from all of this, let it be these. 1, Together AI gives you simple API access to amazing open source models, and you get to skip the whole nightmare of self-hosting. 2, it's perfect for developers who care about costs but still want the ease of use of a cloud service. And 3, a really important one, using it actively helps support and fund the whole open source AI community. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. By making these powerful tools so much easier and cheaper to access for everyone, will platforms like this fundamentally change who gets to build the future of artificial intelligence? It's a pretty big question. Thanks for tuning in.